Hi everyone, it's G Fletcher from LifeVantage. I'm an independent distributor, and we have decided over the last few weeks, a few elites, that we would get together and basically share some of the LV heroes that are around Australia and New Zealand. So I have the absolute pleasure today of having Jude Armstrong share her story about LifeVantage. And what I love is that Jude has come from basically a natural therapy background to now online biohacker with a global online business. And people say to me, I don't live in a really big town. I don't know a lot of people. I'm not very good on the computer. And I just think, well, if Jude Armstrong can do this in a little village of, just a few people, and, age is no limit. She doesn't use that as an excuse, computer skills, none of it. She just goes, yeah, I'll give it a go. That's all I can do. I try my best. And I love this attitude of Jude's. I've got to know her quite well over the last couple of years, and she's a beautiful lady with a beautiful heart for people. And I think that's one of her secrets that she has, is how much she loves people and how much she cares about them. So Jude, I'd love you to maybe share, unmute yourself. Oh, there you go. And just maybe share with everyone here just a little bit about you, really.
Okay, hi everybody. It's lovely to be here and to be asked to do this. It's very quick and impromptu, but I'll do my best as usual. Yeah, I do live in a small village. There's about 2,500 people here, and the whole situation of me joining network marketing, well, I mean, I really feel that it's been a work in progress for all of my life. I was born in 1953, and when I was in England, and when I was born there was this massive gastroenteritis epidemic, which I survived, and many babies didn't. So I started off with a super immunity. So I had no vaccines, no childhood illnesses, colds or flu ever. And in those days, my parents used to drag us around to, children who had German measles or measles. Just in the hope that you'd get it and get it over with. And my poor old brother got clobbered with everything, and I had nothing at all. The other consideration was that my family were involved in running off-market gardens, which in those days were completely organic, and we had all sorts of herbs, and my grandmother was into herbal concoctions, and we had a very, very healthy upbringing. So that, again, really enhanced my health and well-being over the years. Then in 1974, I moved to Australia, and I was working in Sydney. I started studying psychology at university. And one way or another, I ended up in the hospitality industry, which was really good. I enjoyed it very, very much from the social aspect. And then in 1989, I found my way over into Indonesia, where I stayed for 16 years. And over there, they use all sorts of traditional medicines called jamu. One of the principal ones is a drink called kunyit, which is for women, which is made purely and simply with turmeric. And I learned an awful lot from the local Balians, who are the sort of witch doctors over there, about the traditional medicine. And again, I was super healthy by using the products that the local villagers used as well. And in 2005, I came back over to Australia because there were problems in Bali, unfortunately, with the bombing and so forth that went on. And I ended up buying a backpackers hostel in Tully, which is just south of Mission Beach. And I ran the backpackers for 13 years. And during that time, we had 2 Category 5 cyclones. Well, running a backpackers hostel is not a picnic. You don't sleep. You have very intermittent times to be able to eat. It's very, very hard work. And so I found that my health went down in a screaming heap, basically. So at the end of it, after these 2 massive cyclones, when everything was trashed, I was massively overweight. My health had gone to the pack because I actually also fell down 20 steps onto a stone floor in the hostel when I was really stressed out after the cyclone. So in short, I was a big mess. So I think my search for my return to health came out of my desperate need to find some sort of control within the complete chaos that was going on at the time. So given that what we eat, what we put in our mouths, what we choose to use as in our houses with environmental products or not, are really the only two mainstays of any control that we really do have over our lives generally. So I started by focusing on my personal health. So essentially, although I didn't know it at the time, I was biohacking, and I had complete focus for 6 months. And all I did every day was eat well, plan food, walk, get out in the fresh air, and started to change my limiting beliefs around my food, because I had the background there. I knew I could do it. I mean, I'd been 55 kilos all my life and suddenly sprung up to 98. So within 6 months, I dropped 42 kilos. I started feeling super healthy, and it was absolutely wonderful. And I started to feel more like me, the real Jude. You know, I sort of melted. It was great. So
Brilliant.
That was, yeah.
So how did LifeVantage then come into your world?
I started, because I decided that I could biohack my health. I started reading lots of motivational books. You know, people like John Assaraf. I attended lots of Bob Proctor seminars on changing paradigms within your brain. And I was seriously concerned at that time with, having been in Indonesia for 16 years, I had no super. And I was rolling towards retirement with absolutely no plan, because I'd kind of la-la my way through life, as I tend to do, about money. And I had real blocks with money. And so I thought, okay, so if I can biohack my health, then surely I can biohack my finances. So I started to find out how I could do that. Inside your head, you've got this little sieve, and it's called a reticular activating system. And it's a bit like Google. So it hits up on whatever you happen to be thinking. And the way to make things happen for you is to program what you want to happen in the future into this RAS. And it really does work, as I discovered by reading all these motivational books. So once you start using that power of intention, all sorts of people and things start coming into your life. And getting back to how I ended up in network marketing with LifeVantage was, lo and behold, Dr. Rosa Cornack popped up on my radar on the internet, on Facebook. So we sent each other friend messages, and we started a relationship. And then she said to me, hey, this is such a good thing. Let's get into LifeVantage. And I went, I can't use a computer. I don't know anything about network marketing. I'm a bit past it for this. And she, no, let's do it. And I said, okay, to her, okay, let's do it.
So you're offline. So your main sponsor wasn't even in the country as you.
She's in England.
Small village, and she's in the UK.
Yeah.
You're like, okay,
let's go. Let's go. What have you got to lose? So then that was how it all came about. And when I'd been in Indonesia, I used to practice what I'd learned with guests who'd come over, and they'd unfailingly get barley belly. So you go, oh yeah, we're going to put you on 2 days of papaya and a whole load of jamu, and then you'll be fighting fit. I did the same with the backpackers. We used to have every afternoon tea and sympathy, and I'd be there handing out, you know, Lucas papaya ointment and giving them little concoctions of this, that, and the other. So I've always really loved to help people who aren't feeling well. It's one of the things that I really want to do. And I have noticed that people in my age group are just swallowing pills like there's no tomorrow. I had a meeting a couple of years ago when I first started in LifeVantage, and I had morning tea with 10 of the over 60s in the village. And just as a matter of interest, I said, hands up, anybody who doesn't take any medication. And I was the only one out of 10 people who wasn't taking. I was horrified. So I thought, right, this is where I start. I start spreading the knowledge, educate myself first, get right into the products, start taking every single one of them I can get my hands on. So I become the product. And people say to me, hey, you look so well, what are you doing? I say, well, you've got to try this. You know?
And I know at the time, what blew me away was, your mindset. You were like, I'm coming in on a platinum. If I'm doing this, I'm doing it properly. And I'm coming in on a platinum. What's the pack that I need to do to be the most successful? And I said, well, I came in on a platinum. It was the best value. And you went, yep, me too.
And I thought, oh my God,
wow, okay, this woman knows where she's going. But it must have been a lot of that mindset that you had been doing.
Absolutely, yeah. So, with no experience at all. But I like learning new things, and I like researching. And I store all these little nuggets in here in the RAS. And then I just go out, I talk to people. And that's the way I've done it. So it's given me, LifeVantage has given me an opportunity to actively have an outlet for my why, which is to help people. So I think it, I dream about it, I visualize it, and then I act about it, because the distance between dreams and reality is called action. So there's no point sitting there dreaming about what might be unless you're prepared to put a bit of action into it. So small steps every day. Just sow some seeds. 5 people, contact them. Follow up with people. That's essential. If you're talking to somebody a couple of weeks later, you go back, you say, what did you think about the information I sent you? Let's have a chat about it. And once you've got customers, it's absolutely essential to check up with them. Absolutely. Don't leave them hanging on a cliff somewhere, wondering what's going on. You follow up and you say, how are you getting on? You're halfway through the program. Let's have a chat. And that actually gives you an opportunity to guide them. So they start on NRF2. Then after a month or a couple of months, you can say, hey, would you like to try NRF1? We've just got a great probio. This brilliant stuff. I've been using it. Why don't you try this too? So you can build up your client base, not necessarily going out looking for new people all the time. You can build on the substance that you've already put into place. And
how do you keep in touch with your distributors or motivate your distributors? Because I know you have such an array, and they're all over, from New Zealand, South Wales, WA. Are you one of these Facebook people, or on the phone, just keeping in touch with people, keeping them motivated, especially in these kind of trying times at the moment?
When I first started, I was, very clueless about Facebook and stuff, and Messenger was great. And now, of course, that we've been stuck at home, I was going to say house arrest, I've started to use Zoom because it's a face-to-face thing. It's just like having a cup of coffee and a chat, because you've got your coffee or your tea and you could get on and talk. And that's great, because I like to see people.
Me too.
That's how I follow up with people. So that's a development for me, because I was always a bit, frightened of technology. So I thought, well, let's give this a whirl now. So I'm starting to be comfortable with Zoom meetings now.
That's excellent. I didn't know that you were doing your own Zoom meetings and things and holding your own. That's fantastic.
Thank you. I've just started, but every time you do one, you think that wasn't so difficult. I'll do another one.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It really is fun.
It's
Yeah,
fun, and it's all about the other people. And I think we can
absolutely.
hear from your heart, you know.
Mm.
People say to me, you know, oh, as I said, you know, I don't know many people, I don't know this. And I just say, in this business, you actually just have to love people. You
Yeah,
actually, that is the
beautiful.
secret sauce to this. It doesn't matter if you're a high-powered executive or a stay-at-home mom. If you genuinely care about people and want the best for them, you will succeed in this business.
Absolutely, it's a major thing. And having my own experience of biohacking my own health and my own brain to get me so far down the path. I couldn't have believed 2.5 years ago that I would be financially as stable as I am now, and with an enormous customer base and this huge range of new wonderful friends that I've met through the Life Vantage family. Because I live by myself, this is such a huge pleasure to me to have made all these wonderful friends and go to Leisure Academy and see people in the flesh and hug them. It's just opened up a whole new perspective in my life that I didn't dream was there before. And every day you meet new people to talk about, you need to talk to them about the products and new distributors coming on, and it just gets bigger and bigger. And it really is a global family.
And last year, I know that you won, well, the year before you had gone to Utah, had you? Uh,
Last year I went to Utah and to Ireland.
to Utah and Ireland. Like,
Yeah.
as you say, you know, I know that you're, you know, to the rest of the world, they would probably be nearly saying, okay, well, it's nearly time for you now to put you out to pasture, you know. Don't you love it that's what
Fat
the world
chance.
is. But in network marketing, I just feel you're just getting started.
I
You know,
think so
so
too.
young and passionate, and you've got so much knowledge. And that's
Yeah.
what really inspires me with this industry, that there's no age limit. You can be
No,
this. I know a guy in isogenics. He was called the Butcher, and he got started at 72. And I was watching him at 86. He was a multi-millionaire by 86, and he was up doing his global calls and that. The rest of the world would have said, hey mate, you need to be in a nursing home or something, you know. Whereas I love that, you know, we get to spend time with people like you know, that I've become such good friends, and I just feel you
yeah,
have so much knowledge to
yeah.
give and
Age,
so much
yeah.
wisdom.
Age is a state of mind.
I
It
love it.
really is. But if coming from my perspective of being 66 now,
Wow, 66,
if
you're amazing.
if I hadn't got my health, it would be catastrophic, because I look at so many people in the village here who are my age and younger, and they need they need so much help. You know, they really are doing it tough with the pain levels that they deal with every day. I mean, it makes me want to weep sometimes. And there's no need for it.
No.
Try something else. There's no point doing the same thing and expecting a different result. It's not going to get you anywhere. Just try this. I have one new customer from last week, and she'd been looking at all my posts. I've known her for a year and a half, and she's going, oh yeah, little yellow pill, yawn. Here she goes again, Jude, raving on. And then I have been nagging and nagging. Honestly, sometimes I do. And I've been nagging Lynn, and last week, oh no, 2 weeks ago, she said, okay, I'll give up. Just let me do it. I said, I'm going to give you a bottle. Then I'm going to put you on subscription. When your bottle comes, you can give it back to me if that's okay.
Perfect.
I saw her yesterday. She's bouncing around her shop like there's no tomorrow. She said, I wish I'd listened to you before.
Well, that's
She's
good.
saying she's so happy, thrilled to bits with the results she's getting.
Fantastic.
That makes me feel so good.
Well, that's it.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're all about. The byproduct of us helping people is that, you know, we do create an extra income for myself. I mean, I'm just going to end on this, you know, what would life, do you think, have been like if you hadn't started Life Vantage and had this extra income now? And, you know, not going to Ireland.
I'd be up the creek without a paddle. Absolutely. Absolutely. I would have been dire straits. I wouldn't have been able to afford to pay my mortgage.
Wow.
It doesn't bear thinking about. But the thing about this business is that it's kind of like, don't take this the wrong way, it's like a Clayton's business. It's the business you have when you don't have a business, because it's such fun. Such fun to do, and the rewards are so good. I mean, I admire many people. I read Wayne Dyer a lot, which is The Power of Intention. This is a fabulous book if you want to get it. And one of my favorite mentors is a chap I'm sure you've heard of called Alan Watts. And I just like to finish with this. And he said, this is the real secret of life, to be completely engaged with what you are doing in the here and now. And instead of calling it work, realize that it's play.
That's
and I just love that.
Yeah. That is beautiful, that it's play. And that's what we get to do. And we get to become friends with people like you. I never knew you in my life before LifeVantage. I look at all these people on today. I didn't know any of them before LifeVantage. I have to wonder what my life was even like before LifeVantage.
I can't remember. How wonderful is it?
It is.
Absolutely. I couldn't be more happier, honestly.
Thank you so much, Jude. Love you to bits.
My pleasure. And thank you so much for inviting me.